So there's a couple replays I'm gonna talk today. The second one is super short though compared to this. I mean, this one's pretty short as well. This is kind of related to something that I wanted to make. Like it was more of a series of like short videos based. Like each video would be specifically about some sort of combat micro, like super specific things like holding angles, peaking angles, side scraping, stuff like that. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but my school ends in a couple weeks, so maybe I'll do it then. But for now, I just want to talk about this specifically. This is the game from a while ago. Just gonna talk about the fight I had with this guy. That one missed, obviously. Now he's holding the angle because he knows I fired, obviously. So I can't peek him now because he'll just shoot me. I get bored here for a little bit, and I just stop holding the angle, and I like fart around, shoot at the field for a little bit. Come here, I see right there, right before he goes unspotted, he starts backing up. So he's not holding the angle. So I hold the angle. Eventually he peeks, and I take like a tiny shot at his cupola that was probably never gonna hit. Any second now. Oh, it's not even this one. This is where I shoot at this Cax. I'm bored. A couple shots. I'm gonna take another one, I guess. Okay, this is where I come to peek. So in the time where I started shooting the Cax, he has come back and hold this angle. I'm peeking him, and I don't know if he's gonna be here or not. So I basically just pre-aim where I think he's gonna be if he was there, and I counter strafe the corner. So that guy, I mean, I don't know, he probably should have hit that shot, but he kind of got shit on. Like, also counter strafing is something I want to talk about. Is more something you ever played CS:GO you've heard of, but I do it all the time in World of Tanks. I think it's a super important skill to have. Like, there's so much peeking in this game. If you can just counter strafe people, oh my god, it's so easy. It's kind of something you have to learn. So he backed off because I hit his cupola, and I just hold the angle. I backed off. Okay, so right there, we're both spotted because we spotted each other, obviously. So right as he goes unspotted, I was last spotted backing up right here. So because he wasn't peeking before and he thinks that I'm backing up, what I think is he will retake this angle because he expects me not to be here. So as I was backing up, I guess I got unlit there. I'm gonna re-peek before he has a chance to take this angle. That's the shot that I took at his cupola that was probably never gonna hit. So I fired, obviously, so he holds the angle. So if he was just gonna sit here on this corner and hold the angle, I wouldn't peek him. But I watch him and I don't know what he's doing. He's like backing up the rubble and he's just farting around. So I know, especially with people in this game, is almost nobody in this game has the ability to manually aim and drive at the same time. I know there's basically no chance that when this guy's driving around like this and up and down, there's no chance he'll be able to hit me if I peek him. So I could pull him again. Now he's pissed. So he is going to push me now. And this is one of the big things I want to talk about in this video. He's pushing me, and he's going to peek this corner. So we're both spotted, obviously. Instead of holding this angle tight, waiting for him to peek, shooting him, and backing up, I do this a lot. It's kind of something you have to really pick your spots with, depending on what kind of tank you're playing against, how good they are, and you need to be able to time it properly. But instead of holding this angle, I drive out a bit. So when he peeks this, I will already be backing up, and I'll be able to shoot him as he's peeking, and I'll already have momentum driving backwards. So if you do it properly, people essentially have absolutely no chance to have any shot back at you. I mistimed it a little bit here, so I kind of have to stop for a second and keep backing out, but it still works. And this guy's horrible actually, so it doesn't even really matter. But basically, like, obviously your standard peak will be far lower plate first, and what they will have to shoot at is also far lower plate. So I kind of had to stop there for a second, but he has no chance. And this is, if you're gonna do it properly, it needs to be timed better. Like, we just hold it kind of like this, like that, instead of, because I think when I did it, I kind of had to stop for a second. But because you already have momentum, the amount of time they have to shoot at your lower plate is next to nothing. And especially with how bad people are at this game, there is no chance that these people will be able to come around a corner and manually aim at the far side of your lower plate when you're backing up. Alternatively, what you can do, you have to really pick your spots with this though, is when you're backing up around corners, you can turn like this. And depends, like, if you do it perfectly, there's essentially no chance, because, and you're also backing up, but you turn like this, because what they'll shoot at is like far lower plate here. So if you're angled like a standard 45 degrees like this, then it's an easy pen. But if you're backing up like this, they're still going to shoot at the lower plate, but it's going to bounce. The thing is, you really have to pick your spots with this, and you have to time it perfectly, because if you're playing somebody that has a pulse and you do this improperly, they can pen you and track you at the same time. So if they've got a fast reload and you don't have a kit, now you're perma-tracked, and you can't even shoot them back because you'd be backing up around the corner and have no shots. You really have to be able to time this properly for it to be effective, and you also have to be able to manually aim and shoot at the same time, or manually aim and drive at the same time. But I mean, it's pretty easy, and most people really just can't fight against it. And now he's absolutely fucking furious, and he's just gonna push me. This last shot, oh my god, it's god awful. Like, it's so bad. Like, oh my god. So I third person around these corners all the time. That's nothing. That's not a problem. I should be aiming far lower plate over here, because I peek literally all the way around the corner. And something also that I would talk about in one of those videos, you have to, if you're third personing around corners like this, you have to aim at the tank, because your shot is zeroed for this aim point, not your reticle. The reticle doesn't matter. Like right now, this is zeroed for this distance. If you have this aim point on this, your gun will zero for like 1 meter away. And that's, you kind of get those things where driving around corners and stuff, wherever this is, your gun will like fly up and down, and it's pretty goofy. But this was not clean at all. That was horrible. So that's that video. And the other one is this. It's way shorter. This is more of a one-off type thing. Come here. This late game, we've already won, basically. Kind of bored. Like, this is what I do in a lot of pubs. I kind of see stuff like this, and I just go for the clip, basically. So, I'm proxied by the Barask, and this 152 is just holding this corner. Deadlocked, stare. I'm in a leopard. Obviously, I'm perma-spotted, and he's holding the angle. I can't peek this. So I peek it anyway. What I do here is, he's holding the angle, so he's going to be in sniper mode, obviously. The only thing he'll be able to see is my icon, like this, however he has it set up. And the only thing the icon shows you is its movement. So typically, when you're holding a corner, you'll see the movement, and you'll just time it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm reverse side scraping, because I want as much speed as possible going this way. And with the Leopard, it's got this engine compartment, whatever it is, over the back, so you cannot get any gun depression at all over the back. So if I was to reverse side scrape like this, like I am right now, I wouldn't even be able to shoot him. So I'm setting up further away from the corner back here because I don't actually intend to side scrape this because I would just die. What I'm gonna do is he can't see what I'm doing right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend like I'm side scraping with my icon. So he's gonna just see this icon slowly getting closer to this and expect me to peek. But instead, I'm just gonna do that for a little bit, fake like I'm side scraping, and then I'm gonna turn this way. And extremely fast, I'm gonna turn this way so he doesn't really have a chance to react. And it's also gonna give me enough gun depression to shoot him. So this guy is pretty bad. Like an actual player would kill you anyway. He's got like, I don't know, like half a second to react, but for people in this game, half a second is not enough. So this is not really something. This is like the first time I've ever done this. This is just, I basically did this for the clip. This is not something you can really replicate that often. Maybe useful, but it's mostly just being creative with how you peek. Like there are so many, like obviously sometimes there's no options, but there are a ton of different ways you can peek things, even if somebody is just sitting there holding, so that you can catch them off guard. I was gonna do one of the videos just solely on peeking and how to like find what's available, but I don't know, maybe I'll do that when my school's over in a few weeks. Who knows? Hey, one other thing I'm potentially interested in is like breaking down replays that are not mine, because I don't even really play this game that often, and none of my, like, I am hard pressed to find a replay that I actually find interesting. I don't know. Maybe if you've got something that's interesting, post a why replays link in the comments. There's like a 5% chance I might break it down. Who knows? Ideally, something like somebody who's not insane at this game, so there's actually stuff I can break down. But yeah, I think that's it for this. Hopefully you learned something.